Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to BJ and Bill, the podcast, a part of the Podcast Playground Network. Please give us that 5-star review. Subscribe, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. And, of course, follow us on Facebook, BJ and Bill, the podcast. And you can always email us, BJ and Bill, the podcast, at gmail.com. And welcome, boys and girls, moms and dads of all ages, to episode 133.
Pretty sure it's moms and dads, boys and girls of all ages, not moms and dads of all ages. But nowadays, you never know.
At our age, it's moms and dads of all ages.
All ages. Well, welcome. And yes, I got to admit, this is the first time we've recorded this show on the date and time where we're actually recording it on a Sunday morning. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to be here at this time of the day. I got to admit.
It does. You know, it's like our normal time on Mondays. But if we do record like on a Sunday, we usually record Sunday afternoon. But there's going to be a Gator game on. We've got a NASCAR race coming up. You know, BJ and Bill want to be in front of the television later today.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So I don't know about you, but in fact, I know that you have not been locked into the men's basketball final, the March Madness like I have. I locked in, and even games I don't care, like I don't even know who these guys are. I'm going to watch it anyway just to see if there's any excitement. Today, the Florida Gators take on UConn. In the round of 32. So once again, the time travel effect is in full effect. When you hear this podcast, you will know if you care about the Florida Gators, and of course, Gator Nation is everywhere. So yeah, you'll know if they were winners or losers. But as we record this, we were recording it before the game starts. So fingers crossed.
Now let me ask you this: are you a bracket guy?
I'm not. I don't know enough. I mean, like, other than my favorite teams, like if Florida's playing or Ohio State or, UCF or, University of USF, whatever. I don't know. I don't know enough about the other team. Now, does anybody? Because you could just flip a coin for each one. And
that's what a lot of people do.
But to answer your question, no, I don't. And of course, after the first round of games, there's always one or two upsets that just totally destroy everybody's bracket. Everybody, the plans are, there's so many different ways this can go. This isn't like picking a football game or even a NASCAR race where there's, 32. There's literally double that many teams with, a different set of races every day. And it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So anyway.
A lot of people, even by today, are already going to, their favorite hardware store because their bracket is broke.
Busted. Yeah, they need some repair. And again, like I said, the upsets if there's an upset the first day, 90% of the brackets are busted on that day. Because again, for those who don't know, you just look at the numbers and you go, oh, the number 1 team is playing the number 16 team. Got to go with the number 1 team. Somewhere, someone is going to have an upset. And, happens every year. So just pick your upset.
Now, when it becomes this time of the year, I always have to think of my sister-in-law. She has brackets and she watches. I mean.
Really? She's into it. That's impressive. And does she have favorites or whatever? Wait, is she in Indiana? So she's
she's in it. She was born a Hoosier, and that's where that's where basketball. At least when she was younger, I was younger. Basketball ruled in Indiana. Everybody in Indiana was into basketball back then.
Right.
That's before football really got big. Football was out there, but a lot of the high school teams even didn't have football teams.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
Indiana. Okay, Indiana. Yeah.
I know. It wasn't until I was a sophomore or a junior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe a south. I don't know. Well, we didn't get football until, you know, my latter years.
Seriously.
Seriously.
Of course, I'm from Ohio, where football is a religion. On
See?
Friday night, there's football, the football religion. Then Sunday, you go to church. But yeah, it's no. Football was always it. So
Yeah,
whatever.
basketball for, us
You
posers.
Indiana types, I get it. I do. I
Yeah.
do. So
But I
that's
think
okay.
I think football probably has overtaken that over the years.
You think?
As we have aged, I think even Indiana
Oh,
football
even
is,
Indiana.
yeah, I think even in Indiana, football, outpaces basketball now. But
Interesting.
back then, that was the way of life in Indiana. It was like,
Sure.
I don't care. I don't care if it was an old farmhouse. I don't care if it was a house in the city. I think everybody who had a driveway somewhere, there was a basketball net.
Interesting. I know in high school, I can think of one friend that had, and we played, but it was just the one guy's house, and he had it. It had the basketball hoop, and yeah, we played. And it was interesting because now that I think about it, this same guy, he and I went to the same college. We went to Ohio University together. There were three of us guys that went, and from the same high school graduating class. Well, there were three friends. There might have been more in the class that went, but I don't know who they were. But anyway, yeah, we all played on the same guy created the JV, not JV, the intramural. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
teams, when you're playing for fun. We had a basketball team, we had a softball team. Nah, that's about it. I was going to say maybe a hockey team, but no, we had a basketball team and we had a softball team, and we had a great time. We had a wonderful time together. We were not great, but we had a great time.
Oh yeah. I remember because my brother played in high school,
Hmm.
and he was like, he was one of the high school superstars. I must say that was my brother. But he was a
Really?
tall,
What did he play?
he was a tall, he played like, what do you mean? He was like a center.
Oh, okay.
He was a taller kid, he played center,
But
and,
I mean, he played basketball. He didn't play. Well, you didn't have football then. You didn't. He just
yeah,
played basketball. Okay.
there was no football team.
Okay. Okay.
But I remember we even had a gravel driveway because we were out in the country. But we had a backboard out there. And I don't care if there was ice and slush on the driveway during basketball season. My brother was out there shooting hoops and practicing.
Wow. Wow. And was his little brother BJ out there like, chasing down balls for him? No.
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
I mean,
Cool.
being not the physical guy that I ever was from being a sickly little boy.
Right.
And a lot of times when the slush and the snow was out there and my brother was shooting, my mother would say, "You stay in the house or you're going to get sick."
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but, you know, but a lot of times though, I would be out there shooting. I mean, I did a lot of hoop shooting. I never really was a good basketball player because you ran up and
Yeah.
down the court and my little body wouldn't, accept that. But I was out there shooting like, pretty much on a
Good.
daily basis.
Good for you. Good. I was a terrible basketball player, but I was big. I was tall, large. And as my buddy who would be coaching our team would say, Bill, you have 5 fouls to give. Go ahead and use them. Block somebody. Get in the way. So yeah. So we had a great time. It was awesome.
I remember my brother come home from basketball games and say, because he was, he had hairy legs, not real hairy, but they were hairy. He'd say, "I couldn't believe the guy guarded me all day. He kept pulling the hairs off my legs. Man, I was wanting to punch him."
Pulling my hair. I don't
I
think
guess
really
that was
that's
a thing
possible,
back
but
then.
okay.
I guess that was a thing back then. You'd kind of like, I don't know.
How
I
would you
didn't
even do
understand.
that? That makes
I,
no sense. But
I don't
I've
know,
never.
but he would complain about it now and again. That team
Okay.
was dirty, man. They kept pulling our leg hairs.
I really, really, really don't see how that's even possible to reach down there. but I don't really want to know either. So
I
it's
wish
okay.
my brother was still alive. We'd bring him on the show to
We would.
explain.
Mick, we are thinking of you. Somewhere in heaven, we are thinking of you. I met your brother many a time. He was a good man. A good man.
Let's take this first break, Mr. Stevens.
Okay.
And come back because, I have a question for you, and we're going to talk about your other podcast, which is the Practical Path.
Yes.
I think they might go a little hand in hand, and that's all I will say at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, the mystery has been put on the table, and we will investigate it when we get back in just a moment. Okay, we're back, and apparently Mr. Odom has some sort of mystery or something. You sent an email to me this morning, and the header of the email said, "Don't read this."
Right.
And I'm like,
don't open until Christmas.
So I didn't.
Because I want to ask you a question, and as I do, I want you to see if you can answer it. Because I know you are in, the Practical Path. It's
a
about
podcast for personal and spiritual growth.
And you talk about some holistic things.
Of course.
Oh, I'm going to give away the answer. I just better shut up. All right. Here is my question, Bill Stevens, because my doctor, my local doctor,
yes,
had moved to another building. It's like she used to be like 20 minutes away from the house. Now she's about 45 minutes away from the house.
Oh, dear.
So I've been thinking about possibly, I haven't decided yet, but to get another doctor.
Right.
And so I'm getting my scan a few weeks ago for my hernias.
Right. We heard all about that last week.
And I noticed there was a doctor, because sometimes they put like little banners because where I go, get the test and things like that. It's always a, pretty good sized clinic, and they do MRIs and everything else. Then there's some doctor's offices in the same building.
Of course.
Well, some of these new doctors, some of these new doctors will put like little banners saying, now accepting new patients, Dr. blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
So I saw this poster that said they were accepting new patients. And
yes.
They didn't have MD after their name.
Okay.
They had DO after their name.
Right.
Do you know what that means?
I do. It's
see, I knew you would know.
But now it's escaped me.
Well, you can open the email now because it'll tell you. Okay. It'll tell you
let's
in the
slide
email.
over to BJ's email. And hang on, I'll even bring it onto this same screen so I can see you and the email at the same time. Yes, Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. And the reason I know that, interesting that you mentioned that, because we were talking about high school and college. My college, Ohio University, did not have a medical school per se, but it had an osteopathic program. I'm not a doctor and I don't play one on TV. So if I get this wrong, don't email me. Doctors of Osteopathic Medicine, DO, fully licensed physicians who practice a whole person approach to medicine. Key breakdown. Holistic approach. Emphasize the interconnectedness of all body systems and how they influence each other. Consider lifestyle, environmental factors, patients' overall well-being, and in their diagnoses and treatment plans. Yep. Specialize in training OMT, hands-on approach to diagnosing and treating musculoskeletal problems. Can be used to relieve pain, improve function, promote healing. They do complete 4 years of medical college, followed by a residency training in their chosen specialty. Trained to perform full scope of medical practice, including prescribing medications and performing surgery. Focus on primary care. While all DOs practice in medical specialties, they have a strong emphasis on primary care. They work in family, internal medicine, pediatrics, providing blah, blah, blah. Fully licensed physicians. We've already seen that. Yeah, et cetera. So, yes. So, anyway, they have a lot more
but it said holistic.
Regular training. Yes.
They deal with holistic medicine, too.
Well, in other words, rather than BJ walks in and says, it hurts when I do this, and the doctor looks at your elbow or your knee or whatever and says, oh, you got something going on there with your elbow. They're like, okay, it hurts when you do this. Well, what are you doing in life that is generating this pain, this problem, this issue? How can we address the whole of BJ Odom to see that we're not just putting a Band-Aid on one little boo-boo. We're fixing the whole thing so that hopefully this doesn't happen again. I'm again, don't, complain if you're a DO and you're like, no, Bill, that's not it. Write into the show and let us know what it is. But I think that's it. So anyway, are you interested? Are you curious?
I'm curious.
Okay.
Yeah, because really, in all honesty, as everyone knows that listens to this podcast and knows BJ Odom, if I have anything major that needs to be taken care of,
yes,
I have teams in Tampa.
Yes, you got you got the A team, in Tampa Bay there. Yes, we know.
But
Tampa
when
General.
I have like a runny nose or a sore throat,
right,
or something like this, instead of going all the way to Tampa, I like to go see a local physician.
Yes.
And then usually they will, subscribe, medication or things like that to help get me through the cold, because I have a low immune system. So it's dangerous for me even to have like a cold.
Right.
It can turn into something big quick.
Yes.
So I always go see my local doctor. I'm thinking, I might want to try this doctor out. It sounds tempting.
Not the only, but one of the questions I would have would be, are they okay with taking you as a patient once they see your full history? Once they know, this is a guy that's had a transplant and has a team and has the whole thing and all of that. Now, I'm not saying they will or they won't. I'm saying I'll be curious to hear if they are open to having you as a patient and how that works out for the both of you, for the doctor and the patient. It's curious. It's an interesting question. It really is.
Yeah. But when I saw that, I know what an MD is,
right. DO, doctor of
medical.
osteopathic medicine.
Yeah. But I saw that DO and I go, what the hell is a DO?
I wonder
I
if
went
I'm going
to Googled it.
I am gonna go back to Google and I'm gonna go Ohio. Let's see if if it still is Ohio University. I can spell really university. Osteopathic. There it is. Ohio University Heritage College of Osteopathic Medicine, a clinically integrated, learning-centered osteopathic medical education that trains future primary care physicians and specializes in treating the whole patient. See right there. So that's exactly what you were sending me there. Yes, let's head over there and see what it looks like. Oh, look, they got a fancy website and all of that stuff. Attracts students who want to make a difference in their community and have a passion for service. That's why starting in the first year, we provide opportunities to gain hands-on clinical experience, broad perspective of health, disease, healthcare delivery, trained in meaningful impact as a physician leader in the communities you serve. The Heritage College at Ohio University is the state's largest medical school. Really? Well, for that program, I suppose. Well, there you go. Cool. There you go. Who knew?
Yes.
Of course, I haven't been on that campus in 50 years, so I think that might make a difference.
That's probably a whole lot different now, young man.
Oh my God. I graduated from Ohio University in I graduated high school in 75, and I went an extra year because I was on the radio, so of course I missed a lot of classes. Gee, does that sound familiar?
If you wouldn't have missed those classes, Bill Stevens, you could have been a DO.
No, they didn't have the college then. Well, They might have just been starting it. They might have literally, because that's the only reason I knew it. But anyway, I think I graduated from Ohio University in either 79 or 80, depending. And then I think I went back because my then spouse and I lived in Columbus, right up the road. And I think a couple of years later, I might have gone back, but it was literally within 4 or 5 years of graduating. Have not been there since. So if I was there in 85 and it's 25 now, that's 40 years. 40 years that I would not have been to my college campus. So, yikes.
Well,
yikes.
We've discussed my college years on the show before, which really was basically just going to the parties and not really attending school.
Right?
My college, I guess, would that be my, no, it wouldn't be my alma mater or whatever you call that
Alma
is. Yeah.
mater.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
well,
think I have
I
one of
don't know if
those.
you have to graduate for it to be your alma mater or not. I don't know if there's it doesn't matter. I don't know. Anyway,
Well, it doesn't even exist anymore.
it doesn't exist anymore. Did they tear it down?
Well, here's what it is. It was a college, and then all of a sudden it lost credibility or something. So it wasn't a college. And then
Credentials?
somebody
Oh
came
boy.
back in to regenerate it again. And it went for about 2 years. And now I hear that it's just completely closed. I mean, it was a neat little college, St. Joseph College in Rensselaer, Indiana.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
They had a
Well,
football team
they had a football team. Wow.
and a baseball team and all those things.
Very cool. Very cool.
Like it was like the little college that could, but Notre Dame was up in South Bend, and that was the mother of all Catholic schools. But St. Joe was, it was a
Okay.
very good, reputable school. But then somewhere along the line, maybe just being in a small town or
Right.
having a small community of students, it's kind of faded away.
Oh dear. I loved my time at Ohio University. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And of course, you're young and crazy and got big ideas about life and people and all that. So I wouldn't trade it for a thing. I mean, it's funny. And I remember after I graduated, and you lived this. You lived this fact that when I graduated, going into the radio business, where you went to college and all of that really had almost nothing to do with whether you could get a job or not. It's like,
Right.
what experiences did you have? Did you do any kind of internships, or did you work at your college radio state? Which I did all of that, so that was super helpful for me. Well, that's what got me all my jobs, and the connections that you made. You like the first job I ever had in Fort Myers at what at the time was 96 Super Q, which for those of you who remember, just set the Wayback Machine. That was a guy I literally worked for at Ohio University. He graduated and went out into the world, and he was like a grad student when he ran the college radio station. And literally, he called me out of the blue one day when my, then wife and I were living in Columbus, Ohio, freezing our butts off. And he's like, "Hey, I'm in Fort Myers, Florida. You want to come and work for me?" I'm like, "Fort Myers, Florida? Where the hell is that?" Because, again, that was 40 years ago, and who knew? There was nothing there. And he goes, "Well, he said this. He said, find Fort Lauderdale on the map and go directly west." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, look, there it is, a little itty bitty town."
Yeah, back then it was a small town.
A tiny town.
It's still a
Tiny.
relatively small. I don't know what I would call it. I would call it a city though now. I wouldn't call it a
Oh, sure.
town.
Oh, sure. It's one of those it's like one of those bunches of cities. It's like a, Minneapolis, St. Paul kind of a thing. It's like Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Naples. They're all together in one kind of, what's in Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg kind of a thing. It's a
Oh,
group.
yeah.
It's a collected market, whatever you call that. I don't know what the word is, but yeah,
That was fun working radio in that area because I did get a chance to work in the Greenville, South Carolina
really?
market. Yeah, I was at Whistle 100.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that was before BJ and Bill.
Wow.
That
Okay.
was the station I was at basically before the beginning of BJ and Bill.
Oh, wow.
But
Oh,
I
wow.
never will forget, you could be, because we were 100,000 watts. And there were people on mountains that got us like, miles and miles and miles away. And then there was people that were 20 miles away down in a holler somewhere in the mountains. They couldn't
Right.
even get us. It was like the craziest signal ever. You could drive 5 miles and all of a sudden be in a gully and lose it. And then all of a sudden be back up a mountain. And it was stronger than it ever was before you hit the gully. It's crazy.
That's welcome to terrestrial radio, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of our home area,
Yes.
well, maybe I don't know what I haven't been watching the clock. I guess it's not time for the break yet.
You got 5 minutes.
Yeah, but you know that I've been known to watch the Hallmark Channel.
A little, yeah.
So I do watch some frou-frou shows now and again.
Well said.
But as me being a country boy and being raised and grew up on a farm, I got some farm blood in me too.
Of course you do.
So there's this show called Farmer Wants a Wife.
I've heard of it.
It's on Fox, and it's a lot like it's the Bachelor country style.
Yes.
I guess would be the best way to say
yes.
it. The Bachelor and the Bachelor country style.
Yes.
But there is a young lady, and I believe it's Cape Coral, maybe. Because I just read about it the other day, but the new series just started last week. The third season of Farmer Wants a Wife, and she's from Southwest Florida.
From Cape Coral. Interesting.
Yeah, and she's looking for a farmer for a husband.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but of course, like you said. Yeah.
My wife just hollered, "So was I. Look what I got."
She got her farmer. Oh, boy. Best laugh of the day goes to Susan.
She scores.
Somewhere off camera, off mic, off whatever. But there you go. Best line of the day. That's great. Yeah, she got you. Wow.
She got the grand prize. That's like Puma of them all.
First prize 1 week in Cleveland, second prize 2 weeks in Cleveland. Right. It's just, yeah, I hear you. It blew my line. I had a question. So I'll ask it because we do have a moment. So I know the guys, the farmers, the gentlemen, the young men. I mean, we're talking good looking farm guys. I mean, we're talking like, belong on TV kind of stuff. But the ladies that they bring, again, always, beautiful young ladies, but they're like from everywhere, right? There can be some city girls in there and everything, and they don't know the first thing about farm life.
Yeah, most of them, don't know the first thing about farm life. And
that's the joke. I mean, the joke, wrong word, but that's the hook. The hook is they're like
some of them, like, I'm a city girl, or I was a pageant queen, and now here they are. They're throwing slop to the hogs, and
right.
They're driving the tractor and they're plowing up the fields,
breaking nails left and right. I'm sure. Yeah.
And so they're made to do some farm chores with the farmer.
Wow,
it's a cute little show. Like I said, I don't know if it's I think it's Thursday nights. This is season 3. You can always, you can backtrack and, if you want to, you can binge, maybe a whole season.
That would be worth watching, to watch the city girls trying to shovel, what. Yeah.
But it's a fun show, and we watch it here in the Farmer Odom's household.
The Farmer Odom. Well, you are. Look at that. You even said that one of the reasons we're recording the show today is because you are actually getting a new barn door.
Well, no, I'm sorry. But Shari, it is a French door.
French door. Oh, gee. I thought it was a barn door.
The two doors that go open like this. They've got a little mirror and they've got a little glass, and they are so beautiful.
I see. It's not the sliding. Because we were talking about this. For those who don't know, one of the reasons we're recording the show when we are is because BJ has a construction crew coming to his house on Monday morning, apparently, to install a new door on his little hole of an office there. So that will help him. And I remember because a friend of mine had like a what do you call it? A townhome or a carriage house, whatever, like you have, had one in Venice, and they did the sliding where the door just slid sideways across the opening because it wasn't a big enough. It was in the hallway, so it wasn't big enough to open. So they called that was a sliding barn door kind of a thing. But yours, no, French door, 2 doors, so they're smaller and they will open pretty like that. Yes. All right. Well, you'll have to post
my wife would have preferred the barn door.
Oh, really?
But we have, you need more wall than we have.
I got you.
Because like I told you, it was the opening is really on an angle. And it either goes to the door that leaves the house, which is boom right there. And if you slide it the other way, there would be nowhere to slide.
Okay. So the
It's
answer is French doors, which are half as wide because there's two of them.
yes.
For those of you who have like French doors on your fridge or something like that. So cool. Good for you. I mean, and
And
then construction starts tomorrow morning. We'll need pictures, of course, on the Facebook page so we can all see how it goes.
yeah, so basically what will happen when we get done, I will tear down the studio and I
Ooh.
will rebuild it, hopefully by next
Why does the
week.
studio need to be torn down?
Well, I guess I could just move it or cover it, but
Yeah, just throw a sheet over everything.
I will tell you where I am sitting and where the door will be. Like if I take my hand out this way right now,
Yes.
could be touching the door or the hole where the door is going to be. So
Oh, okay. So it's
I'm only arm length away from
okay.
all
So
the,
it's going to be close to the construction there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I better move it.
Well, at least, like I said, at least throw do you got any of hurricane blue tarps left over? You could throw it over the whole thing and go from there. So it's interesting because BJ Odom's house is under construction. Bill Stevens' house is under packing. So mentioned this to you over the week, and we've talked a little bit, in the past few shows about my looking around and my lease expiring here at this particular apartment. So by the time we record our next show, I will be in my new apartment. I'm not going very far. I'm going across town, not even across town. I'm going into town a little bit more. But apparently the apartment business or the apartment industry is suffering just like everybody else in this economy. And if you play your cards right, and I think I did, I got a new apartment where they give you like, oh, sign up before the end of the month. You get 2 months rent free. I'm like, sign me up. And I did. So, yeah.
That's kind of funny in a college town. I think
Actual rent. And I didn't even check because I almost felt like playing the game with the apartment where I'm at now because this would have been my fourth lease going into a fourth year here. Wow. Maybe. I think I had one that was shorter, like 7 months. So anyway, fourth lease in 3 years, 3.5 years. And they have raised the rent every time. They have raised the rent every time. And they're just pricing themselves out of the market. And I had this little itch to have the opportunity to tell them that they were pricing them, but they didn't. I didn't get the chance. And it's like, okay, never mind. Here's my notice. I'm out of here. So anyway, the place I'm moving to is actually like $25 or $35 more a month than what I'm paying now, but 2 months free. So divide that across the lease, and it's like several $100s cheaper for a bigger place. So anyway, we'll do a video tour next week when we get the chance there. So
yeah, I can do. You can do a video tour of your new place. I can do a video tour of my new doors.
of your improvements there, home improvement.
And I heard too, because the way the door is going to go, because like I said, you come right into the house there where the door will be.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it would be better to swing it inward instead of outward. And so I'm going to have to move these where I have the studio set up now. I'm going to have to, change it to another wall. So
the French doors will swing into the room that you're sitting in.
Right.
I'm getting a whole office of my own. I'm going from a 1-bedroom to a 2. Ooh. I know. So I'm going to have my own office. It'll be permanently set up. I won't have to and again, we're showing off things on video that people aren't watching, but I have this little screen, this little paper, Chinese screen behind me and all that. So I'm going to have a real office set up as well. So I'm going to have to do a little arranging, a little feng shui. I don't know, whatever the hell that means. So anyway, sounds good. All right. That's construction and moving plans for BJ and Bill, and it's awesome. So anyway, let's take a quick break, and I've got something that it's kind of political, and it's kind of I'm going to bounce it off of BJ during the break and see if we want to talk about it, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I say either way, go for it.
Thank you. Get your coffee refilled. We will be right back. Welcome back. This is BJ and Bill, the podcast, and we appreciate you being with us. And we appreciate you so much when you stop by wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Leave us that 5-star review. I mean, we appreciate you regardless, but we'll love you even more if that's possible with the 5-star review. And if you have something to add to the show, you want to drop your latest, meme or picture or joke or whatever, head over to Facebook, do a search for BJ and Bill Podcast, and you can find our group page and leave it there. And if you would like to get in touch directly, of course, it's bjandbillpodcast@gmail.com. But it's the review. Really, it's the review that we love the most. So there you go. What's up?
Speaking of the podcast,
There we are.
my daughter has started something new. She has her dog,
Yes,
and her dog really likes her grandpa, which is me.
of course. We know that.
And so now, like they like to go out on the weekends and they go, like to Disney and some of the resorts. They don't spend the night at the resorts. They just go
Right.
to the restaurants and the bars, and
Right.
they're at the age where that's kind of fun life. I remember that life, going to the bars
course.
and going to
Of
the
course.
restaurants, and the dog is home by itself and it gets lonely. So they have started a new thing now. They play BJ and Bill the podcast on their Alexa from Amazon Music, and they said before their dog would like get up off the couch, go to the door and stand, and go back to the couch. Now they say the dog just relaxes on the couch the whole time and enjoys hearing BJ and Bill the podcast while they are gone.
Literally, BJ and Bill the podcast has gone to the dogs. Literally.
So I would like to say hello to our newest listener, Belle, and welcome her to the podcast. And thanks for listening to good old Grandpa.
BJ Bell, you mean? Did you
Yeah,
say?
Belle.
Bell, cool. Good. A Disney character name, of course. So, Belle the dog, we love you, and don't tear up the furniture. Awesome. That's good.
But yeah, they sent me pictures and everything. There's the Alexa,
Yeah.
playing it. And then they show the dog just laying on the couch, like listening, like.
Oh, so they have their little ring alarm system or whatever, so they can see the camera. Yeah.
I've heard of people playing.
The following is a true story. I was home for Christmas. I mean, with my parents in Cleveland, for Christmas or Thanksgiving, and I don't remember which. They had some friends over, and we were all, I don't know, we were, playing poker after dinner or something like that. I don't remember. We were sitting around, and I mean, this was, BJ and Bill time. And they have music on in the background, and it's our oldies. It's like, that sounds familiar. It's like, it's the stuff we played on the radio. And then pretty soon it came around to the song ended, and there was BJ and Bill doing their thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is this? And the friends were snowbirds. They would go to Cape Coral, I think, in the winter. Big BJ and Bill fans would just record the show for hours at a time, the whole show, not like an air check or anything. Songs, music, BJ and Bill chatting, the whole thing, and then they would play it back when they drove or whatever, And I'm like, okay, awesome, thank you.
Well, now I will say we have our little puppy dog.
Right.
We basically don't play BJ and Bill the podcast or anything, but we do play, radio stations that play music.
Sure.
Like Muddy Country or Shack Fu Radio. Although
you don't want to be playing Shack Fu Radio for the dog.
Our dog doesn't really like hip hop that much, I don't think. So
I would say for a dog, it's probably too intense. I'm just thinking.
So we put on Muddy Country Radio.
There you go.
And you can play that on your Alexa too, boys and girls.
Yes, you can. Yeah. In fact, now that you mentioned it, we can tell, you can talk to, who, the A word, and I can't say her out loud or she'll interrupt me. And yeah, we're on that too. We're on all kinds of platforms. We're everywhere. We're like mold. We're everywhere.
That's where I usually listen.
Really?
Yeah, like Susan's at one of her, her craft classes or something. I
Right.
usually tell her to play BJ and Bill the podcast. And
Interesting.
boom.
Of course, I've got it. I have subscribed. Actually, you don't subscribe to the show anymore. You follow the show on Apple Podcasts. And so that's where I have it on my phone. So if I go out for a walk or something like that, I don't listen to all of them, but a lot of them I do. It's fun. It's cute. So yeah, it's great stuff. So there you go.
If you were a dog, you'd be forced to for a few hours while mom and dad's gone.
That's a human voice. A human voice. There you go. All right. All right. You ready to change gears completely?
Yeah. Now, I don't know where this is going, but I've given Bill permission. He said it's a little, little maybe political, but now it's a meme or it's a joke or what is it?
Well, it's kind of both. I mean, it didn't. A meme typically has a picture associated with it. This did not, but it's kind of the text equivalent, so you don't have to see anything. That it's just a joke. It's just kind of joke. All right, I'm done setting it up. I have overplayed the setup part of this. I'm just going to say it. And if you're of certain political persuasions, you may have an issue with it. I understand. It's just meant for humor value only, folks. And it is the following. It was on my Twitter feed last night on X.
Oh, see, I don't like it already.
Huh?
I don't like it already.
I know. That's the way it goes. Has anybody tried to burn your electric car? At least you don't own a Tesla. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't have a Tesla. No, never mind. I was going to say I could get into something with that too.
Yeah, never mind. On Twitter last night, the following: Trump should identify as a female. Trump should identify as a female. Liberals would either have to accept him as the first female president or admit the absurdity of this whole gender ideology thing. I love that. I love that. That's like that's one of those riddles that gets you either way.
Yeah. Well,
liberals would either have to accept him as the first female president. If you're a real liberal and you believe that anybody can be any sex that they choose, okay, Trump says he's a female. That makes him the first female president, right?
I would like to see him say that, though.
Right. He'd never say that. He would never, ever, ever, ever say that. But to own the other side, it's perfect. It's the perfect move. As they say, it's 4D chess. It's 4D chess. It really is.
I don't know if I would call mine 4D chess or not, but okay. So a conservative friend of mine,
yes,
got on the bandwagon of saying how he thinks that Musk is a genius because, the liberals already own electric cars.
Yes.
And now, he's making it so conservative will want to buy electric cars.
Yes. Well, the president bought one. I mean, literally, they put up a Tesla showroom on the White House lawn a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, literally.
So my response was, that's fantastic news. I know I love my Hyundai 6 EV or Hyundai 5.
Right,
EV.
Ioniq 5, yes.
Yeah. So, this person is a conservative with all conservative friends pretty much on his little Facebook page.
Right.
And I was getting attacked because I had an electric car. I'm going, the guy just said that this was an ingenious move because now conservatives are going to want to buy electric cars, and I'm being attacked because I got an electric car. I'm going, just can't win for losing with these people.
And again, not to be too political, but here we are being a little political this morning. This is how screwed up we are. This is how screwed up we are in our thinking these days in this country. And another thing that was pointed out to me the other day is that people who are, and I don't care about your politics. I don't care what side you're on, but you're burning and torching and keying Tesla vehicles to get back at the company that Elon Musk owns. Well, congratulations. Guess what? That company is owned. Elon only owns about 15% of Tesla. I mean, outright owned through stock. He owns about 15%. You know who owns the rest of it? Funds that are money market funds that are supplying money to your retirement account. Congratulations, teachers and postal union workers and factory workers and all of you good folks out there who now hate Tesla for allegedly what their boss and owner, stands for. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, this is what are we thinking? What are we thinking?
This is why, that's a great example. Of course, one thing, destroying someone's property. That's
that's always wrong.
That's just ridiculous, and
yeah.
I don't care who you are. I think if you,
I don't either. We're not. This is not a war.
If you destroy somebody's property, you should probably go to jail. I mean, you should definitely something should happen to you.
Held accountable.
Yes, right. I 100% believe that. And that's like these people are always like, picketing, or not really. I think picketing is okay. But these people that are like, worrying, about like, oh, well, I'm not going to go to this store. I'm not going to go to this store because this and that. And it's like, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I wouldn't doubt if you go, of course, a lot of people think, Chick-fil-A, that's all conservative. But I'll bet you if you walked into a Chick-fil-A, you would find that there were people on both sides of the aisle that actually worked there, made a paycheck, and fed their families.
Of course.
Same way with, but no matter what the business is. Yeah.
With everything. Remember the beer thing a year ago, Bud Light? Remember how we all decided to boycott that? Like you said, there are good, hard-working people trying to make a living, feed their family, living in places like Columbus, Ohio, or Jacksonville, Florida, working for Anheuser-Busch. And now, I get it. Well, here we are doing politics. It's an odd Sunday morning show for BJ and Bill. I get it. We don't think. We just have feelings. And when our feelings get hurt, we act like the 6-year-old kids that's inside of us. And then we lash out. But we don't think about it.
Now, Bill and I have a problem.
Now we do?
Yes, Bill Stevens.
Uh-oh.
Because let me tell you, last night, I was watching a Hallmark movie. And it gave me feelings. It gave me sensational feelings when the couple got back together. I had such strong So when you're talking about that I shouldn't have feelings, and the feelings are going to mess me, I will tell you right now, don't ever put down my Hallmark channel.
Okay. Kind of an important difference there. That if the Hallmark movie is giving you the warm fuzzies, that's okay. I give you permission for that. Not that you need my permission for any of this, but there's a little bit of a difference between going out and painting ugly words on the side of a cyber truck compared to you and your wife enjoying a warm and fuzzy moment together on the couch with a Hallmark movie. There's a little bit of a difference.
And like you said too, probably when you do look at Teslas,
yes,
I would say, I'm going to guess 70. I mean, this is just a wild guess, my friends. But I would say 70% of the people that own Teslas, they may really dislike Elon now. And they may have bought their Tesla, when the world didn't know he was going to join forces with whatever his name is.
Right.
So you're actually destroying things that are maybe owned by someone who believes in the same things you believe in, people.
That is and there's no other way to put it, absurdity. That is the stupid of where we are now. And it's just somebody gets their poor little feelings hurt, and now they gotta do something about it. Really? So you have to do something about it? Why?
Yeah, just go out and, you know what? This is
just be a man and buy a bottle of Jack Daniels and get over it.
I like that.
I'm not recommending that because I don't drink anymore, so it's okay.
Gummies,
but CBD gummies. Yes, nice. So what I'm saying is there are other ways to cope with your feelings being hurt other than violence. There's always a better alternative. Always.
And then that can that can get you in trouble.
What's that?
And then that can get you in trouble. And then where are you?
It gets you in trouble.
You're
it gets you in trouble.
In a jail cell somewhere.
Do you really want that? Is that what you? And I know some people will say, "Oh, I would go to jail for my beliefs." Well, good for you. grandpa. No, I'm the grandpa. Good for you, kids. Great. Good luck finding a job with a criminal record.
Well, you could be
As if
president.
it's not hard enough already.
You could become president, though. Just think of
You
it
could
that
be
way.
president. You could. Dun dun dun. Good job, BJ Odom.
Oh boy,
Boy, look at us. Look at us getting us off on this for the last 15 minutes here.
boy.
I think we need to.
We got our blood pressures up now. This
I
morning.
think we did. I think we need to kind of circle back to some fun stuff here, and so we got last 10 minutes to close out the show here. So there you go. So
And just don't destroy property, people.
yeah, just don't. It's just not worth. I mean, whatever.
I mean, it's not getting you anywhere but in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Maybe could I recommend maybe just think first, think about it a little bit before you go off half-baked and do something you're going to regret later. Or maybe you don't regret it. I don't know, but that is going to cause trouble or harm or damage to somebody else's stuff.
Yep. But I don't know what it is too, because electric cars have been kind of getting chomped on for quite a while because other people were kind of not as much as blowing up dealerships, but they were like doing bad things with keys and electric cars too for a while.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. You can vote with your money. We did that again. They did. I get it. Good, bad, or otherwise, people voted with their money with the Bud Light thing. And I come back to that as an example because it's still fresh in my mind anyway. We just didn't buy your beer. We didn't buy your beer. Your company lost several $billion, and maybe you learned an important lesson. Nobody got hurt. No, I mean, yeah, okay, maybe don't email me and tell me, but Bill, this little thing happened in this little town. I get it. Okay, fine. But we're not burning cars. We're not torching dealerships. We're not bombing storefronts, whatever. Okay. So if you want to vote with your money, vote with your money. I do it every day. You do it every day, whether you believe you do or not. You go to Walmart versus Target. You go to Winn-Dixie versus Publix. You go to what? You're voting with your money every day. That's okay. That's called capitalism. It's the way the world works. Well, it's the way this country works. So, you have choices. Use them. Great. But don't take it out in violence on somebody else's stuff. Not cool. Not cool, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Just a couple old hippies talking here.
I agree with you, man.
Yeah,
but I'm still watching the Hallmark Channel with my feelings, man.
You do that. And I'm going to watch basketball all day today, and I'll have feelings about that too. But you know what? At the end of the day, they'll be over, and I'll climb into bed content and quiet, and I'll sleep a nice night. So it's okay.
I will probably watch the Gators game later today, and I will probably be going back and forth between that and the race.
What's the race today?
Today, they're in Florida. They're in Homestead.
Oh, in Homestead. Cool. Is that a NASCAR race in Homestead?
Yeah. They got a nice track over there.
Cool. Good for you. So there you go. So yeah, then you can, like you said, put it on the split screen or whatever go back and forth or but I'll be locked in for those Florida games. And it's, of course, I live in Gainesville, and so it's kind of a big deal.
I want to thank you too, because I was watching the top 20 countdown on CMT, which I do every week just to keep in tune with what's new and country music.
Country music, yes.
And you send me a little text. You watching the Boilermakers?
Yeah. Your Boilermakers, they had no trouble yesterday. They rolled over. I don't even remember who they played, but they rolled over them. So no big deal.
Yeah, but I said, this is recorded. I can watch this later.
There you go.
Over.
Good. All right. I'm glad we're back to things that are important to us, like sports and NASCAR and TV and Hallmark Channel. Oh.
And don't forget, Thursday night on Fox, Farmer Wants a Wife. My wife got one.
You're gonna force me to watch that, aren't you? I'm gonna probably have to put it on just to see what's going on. Because it's weird. Well, it's not weird. I know they're going for ratings, so it's like okay, there's basketball today, and then there's nothing all week. It like doesn't start up again until like Friday, I think, or something like that. So I'm going to check on that so I don't
Now,
shoot my off.
I will admit this,
What's
and
that?
I hate to admit it, and I don't mean anything ill,
Right,
but yesterday and even the days before that with not only the NCAA tournament for the guys,
right.
but also the girls is going on.
Yes, it is.
And so I watched a few of those games over the weekend and last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, people. I don't know. And I can't explain it. But without Reese and without
Caitlin.
Caitlin, I don't know. You just last year you knew names.
Yes.
And it was just an exciting, fun thing to watch. This year I watched those games and I go, it's not that exciting this year. And it's got to be. I mean, okay, yeah, they were two superstars, but the game is still the game.
Right.
And so it should go, okay, if I was excited last year, I should be just as excited this year, but
You
I'm
would,
not.
but you're not. And do you think it's because of the and I get it. I mean, I do. It's a personality thing. I understand, not personality. It's a well, kind of a
Yeah,
personality
because
thing.
yeah, it was the stars. I mean,
Right,
they
because you
became
know those
stars.
names and we've watched those names during the season. I guess. I guess it's but you're right. I've watched one game. I watched one ladies game so far this year. And by the way, I just wanted to correct myself. The Sweet 16 round begins Thursday night. So, but you got a few days off. So, that's
Yeah.
Farmer Meets a Wife night.
Oh my
I
God,
might
you'll
have to
never watch.
record one.
You'll never
Oh
watch
my
it this
gosh.
week.
Oh man, I'm in trouble. Yeah, but what you said is true, and I don't understand why. Was last year's ladies college basketball just something special, some lightning in a bottle that happened one time? I don't know. We'll see what happens. And maybe again in the years to come, or hopefully not too distant future, another couple of young ladies show up as superstars in the league and make another splash. Who knows? Who knows?
What I think will be fun to, well, I don't know if it'll be fun to watch, but what will be interesting to watch, that was maybe a better word to say. I think it'll be interesting to watch what the numbers are for the Indiana Fire
Fever
Fever, yeah,
for the
Indiana Fever,
WNBA.
yeah,
Yeah.
this coming season. Because last year, even when they were on the road, and now this year, a lot of the teams that they are facing that are in these smaller auditoriums have decided, hey, when Caitlin and the Fever come to town, we're going across town to the bigger arena to play our games.
Sell more tickets. Sell
and it's
more beer and pretzels. You
and
better believe they
it's
are. They're
happening
not
in a
dumb.
lot of cities, not just, Chicago was the first to announce they were
Right.
going to the bigger stadium when they played Indiana.
Right.
But now some of the other teams have also come out and said, when the Fever comes to play us, we're going across town. We're going to the bigger stadium. So it's going to
Right.
be interesting to see how that plays out in year two. If the Fever, well, they're the Chicago Fire. You guys going to say, if you think the Fire and the Fever can stay hot,
Right.
can keep it that temperature they were at last year, it'll be interesting to see. Or maybe they've got some antibiotics and the fevers went down. I don't know.
And the Fever will go down. But you're right. It's 100%, 100%. I think again, the WNBA, like ladies basketball, like college, definite. And to use the basketball analogy, definitely at a tipping point, like a tip off. But definitely it's like, okay, we can do something now. We're ready. We got the attention. We got the eyeballs. We got some ratings. We got some money. Let's do something now. And we'll be curious to see how it goes. It'll be great. It'll be great. I think it's awesome.
I wonder how BJ and Bill will do next year.
We'll do what?
I wonder how we'll do next season.
Next season. I don't
I wonder if our
are you
ratings will be up.
I know you keep seasons. When how many shows per season?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I get lost. I'm on season 3 with The Gift of Life, the organ transplant podcast. I just make it up. Okay, I did 20 episodes. I'm in a new season.
So 20 is your number
That's
there.
what it
20.
kind of been,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, hell, we've done 132 or whatever,
So what
33 this
season are
is.
we on?
Good golly. A lot.
Oh, before we go, speaking of seasons and numbers and things like that, I did the math the other
Oh my
day
God. Oh my gosh.
for my electric car and when I charge it home.
Yes.
And I estimate I go about 30 miles. I can get about 30 miles for $1 of electric.
Oh,
And gas, I would say, is what? Close to three. Well, it's a little less, depending on where you are,
depending on where you are. Yeah.
but around
My
$3.
my Circle K where I usually fill up on the corner right here is like 305 this week. So yeah,
Well,
$3.
well, let's even say $3.
Yeah.
So, like on a gallon of gasoline, if you took that money wise, I'm probably getting over 90 miles a gallon
Correct.
with, as far as money equaling each other, electric and gas.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't
Getting-
there's a statistic or a number or a something for that. There's like an EMPG or something out there but yeah,
Yeah. So I'm getting about 90 miles, what it would cost me for a gallon of gas.
that's awesome. That really is awesome. I think we've talked about this before, but if I was in a space that had a charger available to me, I wonder if my new apartment has a charger. It's a very modern building. I mean, it's just been built in the last 3 years. I'll have to ask if we have a charger. Because if I had to go to the charger, if I had to go, and I mean, it's not far. Like I told you, it's in the parking lot of my Target right there at the highway exit. And I'll be even closer to it with my new apartment than I am now, which is pretty close. But that's just too much of a pain. I can't imagine that it's like, I'm leaving the house for the day. Oh, damn, look, I didn't charge up this week. I got to go charge first. That's too much of a pain at apartment life. So we'll see.
With us having a home and having a charger
Yeah.
in our
Yeah.
garage, my
Absolutely.
wife says that what her favorite part about having our electric car, which she was not on board in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
she goes, I love it because, she's a woman too, I never have to go to the gas station.
Exactly. Never.
I just don't have to. I never have to go
Exactly.
to the gas station. Where,
And-
as a
and-
woman, sometimes, like I'm going to go to town. Oh, the car's low on gas. I'm going to have to get out, pump the gas, And
Right.
it's not that a woman can't do that.
No.
Or a woman should feel uncomfortable. Maybe my wife did. She just felt a little uncomfortable.
Well,
She
you
was
get,
by
it's
herself and
messy and it can be dirty and you get your hands a little stinky from the gas and all that. I understand completely. No, I had that lady friend that I have in Sarasota. She has the same car you do. And that, again, same thing. It's like I get up, I get out in the morning, I'm on my way to somewhere, car's fully charged, I'm ready to rock.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I get it. I do. And again, like I said, if the day comes that they start to build the infrastructure and make it more accessible, I'm interested. Just right now, it's just not practical for an apartment guy like me at the moment.
Well, one thing too that might get you a little excited too, and they're talking about this, the newer batteries actually, battery prices are coming down. They're getting better.
Yep.
And they're thinking in the very, very near future, the new batteries will let you get like 450, 500 miles on a charge.
Yes.
So you don't have
we're only at the very beginning of this. I mean, electric cars have only been a thing. Yeah, they've been around forever, but they've only been a serious thing for 4 or 5 years. Where will we be in another 10 years or whatever? I don't know.
Well,
of course, you and I will be too old to drive, but it's okay.
Well, what sold me, I'll tell you exactly what sold me on the electric car.
Mm-hmm.
We have a golf cart.
Right.
We have a golf cart that we got from my cousins. This golf cart must be 10, maybe even older.
Right.
10, 12 years old, 15. And, every 2 or 3 years, of course, now you can put lithium batteries in them and they last longer. But, the old,
Car
acid
batteries. Yeah.
they last about, 2-3 years. And then,
Yep.
we're having to buy new batteries for it.
Yep.
Well, besides that, that's all we do.
Yep.
Put water in the batteries once in a while and change the batteries like every 3 years. And, of course we don't go, long distance, but we go to the clubhouse, we go around the neighborhood, and we've owned the thing for 3 years, and we bought like one set of batteries.
Yep.
I'm going,
yeah. So no maintenance.
That's kind of where it got me going, well, heck,
Yeah.
golf car's going to act like that. Surely an electric car is going to do the same damn thing.
I get it. There you go. So yeah, there is a lot less to go wrong mechanically in an electric car, and the rest of it's all computer anyway. So you probably pull one chip out, put one chip in, you're done. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. All right.
These people that brag on, well, I have a a hybrid. Well, the hybrid has a battery.
Yes, it does. Oh yeah, that just charges on board. Yeah.
So,
that's interesting you mentioned that, and that's maybe another day for another show, but I've been looking at my next will probably be a hybrid. Probably my same car. I really like my little Hyundai Tucson, and the new ones are kind of cool, and they make a hybrid version, and that'll probably be my next one. So, but
because here's what I've been reading about hybrids though.
Uh-oh.
That they have more working parts, because not only are you buying an electric car, you're buying a gas car. So you're buying both, which means more things to go wrong.
It could. It very well could. So,
but I believe everybody needs to do what they want to do and what's best for them. And with you not having a place at home to charge, that would be if I didn't have a place to charge, that's probably the direction I would have went.
And again, it'll get better over the years. All right. We've been yakking, but I'm glad we ended on a fun and interesting and happy note. So there you go. So
there's still some people that don't like electric cars. So they're going, he tried that
I get it. But we're not here to. I was going to say we're not here to talk the politics of electric cars, even though that's exactly what we did a few minutes ago. But okay. But trust me, folks, if this is your first time in a long time listening to BJ and Bill, today was a very unusual show. Very unusual show.
And I will go on record as an electric car owner, just as I told Bill. I believe that everybody has the freedom to buy and to drive whatever you want. If you want to drive a big old 4-wheel, 10, 20 foot tall, 4x4 that takes gasoline,
right?
Go for it.
Exactly.
If you want to buy an electric car, go for it.
Exactly.
It's what makes you happy. It's what's important in life.
I love that. Thank you. What a great way to put a bow on the show for this week. Do what makes you happy. Do
right.
And as long as it's not messing with other people.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy.
As long as you're not burning cars and killing people.
Exactly.
Do what makes you happy.
Precisely. All right, everybody. No matter what you're driving, go out there and enjoy it for the week. We'll see you again next week, hopefully at our regular time, and we'll have all kinds of updates for you, so that'll be great. So anyway, have a great week. We appreciate you. Stay tuned, and we'll talk to you again soon. But until then, just up to BJ Odom to say,
see ya!
Flip the dial, take a ride back in time when the airways were golden and the DJ shined. 2 mics, 2 guys, and a whole lot of laughs. Living like legends, bringing stories back. No script, no rules, just telling it all.